Welcome to our SONAR daily update. Julie, what have we got on screen?
Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about tender rejections as a whole, and what I find interesting is that while other modes have cooled a bit as far as tender rejections go, refrigerated hasn't.
So let's just make sure our audience knows. We've got down here below, you can read it. You've
all
got
truckload.
Van is purple.
Yep.
You've got flatbed is this yellow.
Very volatile,
yellow,
orange,
sort of like
whatever, yeah.
Sort of looks like JB Hunt.
Tangerine,
It's
yeah.
JB Hunt. That's a JB Hunt color, right? And then down below we have the gray, which is Reefer. Okay.
And what is interesting is
but then we have the major rejections.
This is all truckload.
Always in blue. The default, at least, is in blue. So,
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So what I think is interesting is we all know super volatile flatbed. We've talked a lot about that.
And that flatbed is really volatile.
But the refrigerated, what is interesting is when we get over here by where Craig is, we see that like everything is cooled a bit except refrigerated.
But
and
this is the time of year. It's freaking hot outside.
It's hot outside, but I also think that you can. Well, let's compare volumes.
Go back. I want to show something before we go. So look at this right here. If you remember earlier this year, so the thing about temperature controlled is it's not, because a lot of times people think it's about reefer refrigeration. It's also like protect from freeze,
absolutely,
which is a big piece of it. So back here in February,
cold.
You saw it, but it dips. This is when you can almost see
moderate
the weather.
Spring weather.
You can almost see the weather in the refrigerated chart as it dips right here. And I remember when we were starting to talk about improving, accelerating conditions in April and May and just tightening in the market, really April, is I was getting some heat on X from some refrigerated drivers that were like, hey, we're not seeing it. The reason we're seeing it is temperatures were cooling off.
Yep.
Our temperatures were warming, but they were warming, the weather was better, not cooling off. But now what we're seeing is really moderating, thank you. Nice climate weather. Right here is where refrigerated has been strong, flatbed has collapsed. Now,
so refrigerated tender rejections are hanging around that 20 to 20.5%.
Now, the reason flatbeds are softening is a lot of what drives the flatbed season, and it's happened again this year, is the construction market, the build out. A lot of materials are moving earlier in the year because summers, when the weather is hot,
before it's too cold
when
to
it's
build.
Good, they don't like to build, particularly in the north. They don't like to build. I mean, in Florida, you can build year round. Tennessee, you get something like 10 months out of the year. But you don't typically build when
the ground is frozen.
Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why flatbed is so strong in the first part of the year and sort of cooled off.
Yeah. So I wanted to compare refrigerated volumes to tender rejections as well. So volume is blue, only refrigerated, and tender rejections are red, just to see if they're kind of moving in tandem or if this does have to do with, I guess I have an additional theory that in addition to the weather, that refrigerated is sort of the least fungible mode with intermodal.
Well, it is, because you have to have a box. You have to have a refrigerated unit.
Refrigerated has to run at all times with
higher diesel prices. But the other thing is, like, what you end up with when you have refrigerated is, when we saw the massive expansion of capacity, people aren't buying refrigerated units because the cost of that trailer is, sometimes is twice as much. And so really what you're looking at here, again, refrigerated rejection indexes is Schneider orange. I call it orange. It just looks orange. You think it's red?
Orange is red. I don't know.
It looks Schneider to me. And then up here, we've got blue. That is the volume index, following two different charts. And what you can see, what are we learning here?
So I wanted to see if they were really following in tandem or if there was potentially mode conversion here. So you could see that in some cases, volumes are going up, rejections are going down, right? You would think that as volumes go up, rejections go up, and then they're kind of normalizing here. So I do think that some of it is that volumes are maybe up a bit because of seasonality and the requirement for refrigerated, but I also think that tender rejections have remained higher for this mode than others because there has been that pressure valve release for over the road and the other modes with intermodal conversions.
Yeah, for sure.
This is just a seasonality chart showing that intermodal contract savings index
Mm-hmm.
to see compared to the last 3 years just how much
30.
higher it is right now.
33% right here. These are years, seasonal chart, as you said. 33%. I think that's your answer on why intermodal is so strong right now.
Absolutely.
Is that companies are taking advantage of intermodal savings is really driving it. 33%.
Yeah, and I think that this little bit of a dip is not necessarily because intermodal rates have changed. It's because we've seen a bit
Well, the cost of trucking and capacity and diesel. I mean, there's a lot of factors that.
But truck rates have come down a bit, right? So that's why.
So 16% is where we were if you look at sort of last year.
Yep.
In terms of the delta between truck and rail. Rail rates are not increasing to the degree that truck rates are, which is really what's driving this expansion. I mean, intermodal is not getting cheaper, it's just not getting more expensive.
So then same thing, as we talk about intermodal, it's Wednesday, rail day. Total outbound rail container volumes still significantly higher this year than the prior 3 years. This is the seasonality again, showing the last 3 years. Blue is always current year.
It's all, I mean, the interesting thing is just how we continue to have record highs on intermodal. No shock to anyone that watches the show that intermodal's killing it. Again, that 33% is just a catalyst. It's continuing to increase all-time record highs.
Yeah, so I do think that there has been obviously continued mode conversion in the other modes other than refrigerated. Okay, so I wanted here to just compare the two together so you can see them in one spot, right? Outbound rail container volumes in blue, intermodal cost savings index in green. So you can see that volumes have still on the same trajectory, continuing to go up, but more than anything, the intermodal cost savings have continued to go up throughout the course of this year.
So we should see more if the cost savings are as significant as they are, then we should see continued intermodal, which we'll get the traffic here shortly.
We will with the ARR report.
So
we can basically, I mean, same story that we've been seeing, that we're continuing to see intermodal conversions. Intermodal is incredibly strong. Rejections are still strong across the country, really, particularly in refrigerated. But when you look,
I'm waiting to see what happens next week as we head into Labor Day. The rejection rates get above 15%, 16%, 17%. We'll see.
Want to talk about rail volumes to and from the U.S. and Canada?
Sure.
So with all of the trade noise that we've been talking about today, I really wanted to track to see if we could see anything in the data so far. I think it's too early to really see it, but I think it's interesting to know that it's here and it's something we'll be able to continue to watch. So we can look at total outbound rail container volumes. This is Canada to the United States for the last 3 months. A little bit of volatility. It's gone down just recently.
In fairness, though, we've been following the Canadian economy, Canadian rail volume specifically, because that's sort of the purest form of volume data. And Canada has not been experiencing the same level of activity in the bulk commodities as the US, particularly in the metals and mining. You know, there's these things that were a big part of the trade tariffs that we've had for some time, even before the USMCA rewrite or not renewal. That has been something we've been watching. So
yeah, and in the ARR data, we see every week that North American railroads incredibly strong.
Well, American railroads are very strong.
U.S.
Canada railroads not so much.
U.S.
And Mexico
has not been as much, and Mexico has been relatively strong. It's just a small portion of the overall North American rail volume. So we have the same thing on United States to Canada, which I think it was interesting to be able to look at the inverse of that to see, again, a lot of volatility back and forth, clearly some seasonality, but it is beginning to pick up a little bit. So we'll see if tariffs have any sort of impact on that. When we do the same thing in our system by looking at to and from Mexico. So we'll be continuing to watch all of that.